So, welcome friends. Today we have with us Dr. Snehasish Dutta, starting his career from a trainee to moving on and becoming CXO, CEO of some of the major groups and companies in India. And now he's into coaching and a very successful published author. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pranav.
So, sir, we would like to know your life story from your words. Like, how has the journey been?
Oh, that's wonderful. Actually, I started from a very humble beginning, of course, in a place in Orissa. I was born and brought up in a place called Sambalpur. And most of my early studies was in Orissa. Thereafter, of course, I graduated, was a physics guy, did my MBA, later did my PhD in marketing. But all this is part of the learning curve. Of course, coming from a small town, father being in government job, I was always aspiring for, how does corporate world look like and what does corporate world is all about. So I had my first break, I would say, with L&T ECC, and I started with a trainee. Very small place. I went a place called Jasidi in Bihar, and a very small place. My father was very disappointed that what are you doing in such a small place, come back home. And then I said, no, let me stick around, see what's happening here. And thereafter the journey continued. My father said is that go through the grind first, learn the ticks, learn the trade well, and slowly gather momentum. So from there the journey started. L&T initially, then my knack for engines, mechanics, all led me to get into Kirloskar, and there I started a tenure with Kirloskar engines.
Wow.
I learned to do how an engine can be opened and assembled back.
Oh.
The fun was that once you start assembling, it should start.
Right.
So the first 10 days I never knew. I was good at opening it. I never knew how to start it back. So after that I learned how to start it. So that was again the trick for getting into more of automobile.
Okay.
So I got a chance through Piaggio. And after Piaggio I was with Tata Motors a long tenure. I have handled almost all the product lines of Tatas. And thereafter my journey continued with Adani, Reliance, and so forth. It continued.
Wow, very nice, very inspiring story. So why coaching? Simple question.
It's simple. Let me keep it very simple to the audience today. A lot of people come front to me and say, "Sir, ये coaching होता क्या है? What is all coaching about?" 10 years back when I said that I'm coaching people, a lot of people said, "आप tuition पढ़ाते हो क्या?" So it starts like that. So people in India were not habituated to the word of coaching as one of the interventions in a leadership journey. So coaching for me came simply that what is that way by which I can hone my journey better. My leadership skills can be done better, and how I can dream bigger and do it better. So that's something that I saw, that every corporate that I've worked with, the same thing is quite synced with all the companies. The dreams are there at every level. Whether you are at a trainee level, whether you are a mid-manager, whether you are at a senior management level, or even the CXO levels or founders, the dreams are always there. What is missing is how to do it.
Okay.
And more importantly, how fast you do it.
Okay.
And sometimes people do not know the answer. Like we run to a doctor for any complications of our body or health. Coaching is a similar thing, that I am stuck somewhere in life I'm stuck at something, I do not know the answers, or I'm still trying to find out what can be a right answer to it, or who can be a navigator to my goals. So coach comes in between as a doctor who is there as a GPS facilitator for your career or leadership or your journey, I will say. And of course, we have various coaches. Maybe it's a life coach or a career coach or a executive coach. Primarily, coaching is a pure doctor in your life who is not giving you prescriptions, of course, but he is leading to you with a journey, and you will yourself find your answers. That's the difference between a doctor and a coach here. But of course, doctor prescribes us a set of medicines. Coaches do not prescribe anything. Coaches only take you to a point where you will start knowing that this is right for me, or this is something that I can work on.
So as you so rightly said, there are a lot of perceptions, in the views of coaching, especially in India. Like people think that people usually confuse it with mentorship, with therapy, even, or with, the psychological sessions or something. So in simpler words, layman like me, if I want to, if I want to take up coaching, or if I want to enroll for a coaching session or something, so how do I do that? Like, what's the process?
A very nice question. In fact, that's a very common question which is asked everywhere.
Right.
Ki, sir, what's the difference between coaching? What is the difference between advising, therapy, counseling, training?
Right.
And that's the biggest query that everybody has, Let me keep it simple. While all of us would have attended some training programs, right? Some or the other training programs. Now, what does a trainer do? Trainer comes with certain theories, certain presentations, certain ideas, and he would demonstrate it on a slide or maybe a workshop, and you get to understand that, right? Maybe it's a 2-day sessions, 3-day sessions, 5-day sessions. Some of them carry it after a week or a month, but somehow it fizzles out over a period of time. It does not stay long. While somebody is saying you something, the entire session is more about saying you.
Okay.
Similarly, if you see any other ways like advising, friends gives good advices. So friends are very good at advices, relatives are very good at advices, parents are very good at advices. So are they coaches? Sometimes, some people ask me these nice questions. So I tend to clear them. That of course, everybody is good at advice and everybody is great in their understanding, and everybody, I acknowledge their wisdom. But coaching is something where coaches do not say something, they don't tell, they ask. That's the grounded difference between a coaching and a training.
Okay.
Coaches do not tell anything. They
do not
ask
advise.
you.
Okay.
They keep on asking you, or I will say they keep on taking you through a process
Right.
of asking, of questioning, of provoking you with thoughts,
Right.
by which slowly you will start unraveling your own beauty of knowledge.
Right.
All of this is dug inside, and slowly how do you evolve this and find it yourself is the coach's way of doing it. So a primary difference between here is that it is more of an asking thing. Mostly what I say is that coaches work on future paced assignments, that what you are today and what can lead you to tomorrow is what coaching takes you to. While counseling is more about what happened to your past, how can you be better, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So there's a lot of digging at the back.
Correct.
While coaching is more about unraveling what's happening or what's going to happen in your future. So it is more of a future paced discussion, and it slowly unravels that you are walking actually in the future without actually going into the future. That's the way a coaching journey takes.
Right. Very nicely said. So if I'm not wrong, like coaching is kind of a mirror. Like it will act as a mirror. वो खुद आपके questions को answer करोगे once start with it. Is it something like that? Like
बिल्कुल प्रणव, और इसमें यही तो इसकी एक खासियत है. The खूबसूरती ऑफ कोचिंग इज दैट आप खुद अपना मिरर देख सकते हो. जब मुझे पहली बार सिखाया गया कि कोचिंग क्या है, माई कोच टॉट खुद को कोचिंग कैसे करना है. इट्स नॉट अबाउट कोचिंग अदर्स, इट इज़ अबाउट कोचिंग माई सेल्फ. So how do you coach myself? So something like that. So as long as a good coach does not know how to coach yourself, or self coaching is not done, you'll not be able to coach others.
Okay.
And just to give a perspective, is something called a self discovery, which is very, very important during the coaching journey. Self discovery is a process which talks about how much do I know about myself. Whether I am a leader, whether I am a CXO coach, whether I am a CEO, whether I am a husband, whether I am a father, whether I am a just a normal citizen, how much do I know about myself? That's the discovery of myself. So as I discover myself more, I know this is what I know more about myself, and then I know the world a little more better. Then I know, okay, these are my hidden gems which I was not aware. मैं आपको एक स्टोरी बताता हूँ. मुझे पहली बार जब मुझे कोचिंग असाइनमेंट मिला, सो मुझे बताया गया कि आप अपने बारे में लिखिए. बच्चों को दिया जाता है ना, राइट अबाउट
ऐसे,
राइट अबाउट अ काउ, राइट अबाउट अ डॉग, राइट अबाउट योर हाउस, राइट अबाउट योर पेरेंट्स.
So that's the most difficult thing. अपने बारे में लिखना.
अपने बारे में लिखना. तो मुझे बताया गया कि आप अपने बारे में लिखिए, राइट अबाउट योरसेल्फ. And that's something which I've never forget.
Okay.
So first day when you write, the coach says, okay, great, you have written it. It's about 2 pages that you write about it. And after some time he says, after maybe 1 or 2 days, he says, okay, you now repeat it, write it again.
Okay.
This time don't use the same words and think deeper. What else can you write about yourself? So that's the little tough at that time, the second stage. I was really surprised that why this gentleman is asking me again to do it.
Like whatever I had, वो तो पूरा लिख दिया. अब क्या लिखूँ?
अब क्या लिखूँ? नया क्या है इसमें? तो जैसे आप दोबारा इसके ऊपर सोचते हो, then you start thinking about कि what is more in me. Okay, I am Snehasish. I was born in so and so. I was done education so, and I have done this. I've done that. Now what more do I think about myself? Right? So when you start thinking into the depth, you have again written something which was slightly different than the first version.
From the previous one, yeah.
And my coach made me do this almost 7 times.
Oh my God.
7 times over a period of about 15 days.
Okay.
I kept on writing about myself. Ki what is Snehasish Dutta? And he said that you just focus on yourself. Don't write the everybody. Okay, you can always write that you have parents,
Like
your
your family and
your wife, your children. You can always write it, but you focus more about yourself. What are you good at? What are your strengths? Okay. What are your weakness? What are you on? कुछ तो आपका fear होगा ना. There must be something which you are not happy with. You're fearful of.
Right.
You have some beliefs which you want to kill. And he said one beautiful thing which I would like to address to everybody, whoever is seeing this podcast. If you do this exercise and you see your first version to your last version, you will yourself say that wow, Snehasish, what a technique of understanding myself. I don't need a teacher, I don't need a coach. I have self-coached myself. If I can dig deep on me, I found it. I found it somewhere. So that's the self-discovery of coaches.
I think आपने हम सबको होमवर्क दे दिया है. हमको भी ये चीज़ करना पड़ेगा यार.
But इससे बहुत फायदा है.
Right. So yeah, very nicely said. काफ़ी clarity आ गई मुझे, pertaining to coaching. Like I got a lot of clarity. So my next question is from CXO to see a coach, and from airport runways to now boardrooms and meetings and one-to-one sessions and all. So when was that pivoting moment that you thought like I should be moving on into coaching?
Yeah, so I think I was fortunate to the Tata Motors group. My first exposure of coaching came to me through them. So I got into that coaching session, started learning what he is talking about, and there were like phases of it. Day 1 you do this, day 2 you do this. So I started understanding what he's all talking about, and a lot of these things are like, okay, I have understood now. I go back to my normal work, I forget and all that. Somehow it engraved deep into me. And I started understanding it more. I started dwelling in the subject. And then my knack for books, I was an avid reader of a lot of good coaches and leaders across the world. So Tony Robbins, for example, Marshall Goldsmith, for example, they were quite influencers in my life. And that's where I started seeing that, okay, if I have to be a better leader or a bigger leader, or if I need to climb the ladder, what are the things that I'm not doing now, or how I can do it better? So then I saw that if I can address these things in my life, there are ways by which I can start doing it better. Like, for example, simple thing, I was slightly aggressive and very high on temper at times on handling challenges or tough issues. A coaching journey, and that too with a little meditations and all, helped me calm down very much. I started looking the things in a more holistic nature. I was not immediately reactive at things, I was taking a time to pause, think, and then reflect on the situation, and then maybe reply or react on it. That's something that has started changing in me. And these slow changes slowly made me understand that there is something transformation which is happening. And when I saw the outside world, they are also grappling with those type of challenges. Somebody is having a leadership challenge, somebody is saying, okay, you have an ambiguity issue, somebody is saying that you have an interpersonal issues, somebody has a communication skill issue, somebody is saying that, okay, you do not know how to mingle with your peers, somebody says that in a corporate ladder, somebody says that, okay, team building is not a great attribute of yours. So when all this comes, so these are all leadership traits.
Right.
So how do you attend to these leadership traits? So when I started understanding it, I went back to my coaches, studied some books that, okay, if I am having this problem, what are the ways I can look into it?
Right.
And then I felt that coaching is something which is so deep. It hits your core. And when it hits your core, then you start seeing a different version of yours. It's like Pranav 2.0 or Snehasish 2.0.
Right.
And that Snehasish 2.0 started coming up well.
Okay. Once you began your journey into coaching.
Yes. And then I saw the transformation happening, My family says, Snehasish, you are now slightly different, more matured, more talking, slowly and wisely.
Calm
you
down.
are taking your calmer, you are hearing better. All these are attributes. Hearing is, for example, a simple technique where, lots of people struggle that they are not good listeners. Right? People are good speakers, but they are not good listeners. So listening is a capability. It's a big requirement of a leadership. So you cannot just try to be a good listener. You have to practice it. And somebody has to say you that, okay, how do you practice listening? And there are techniques, there are exercises, there are proper coaching process on this, that how can you take you through this journey. So once you start understanding all this, what happens is you start feeling wow about this entire journey. And then I felt that coaching is such a beautiful phenomena that not me, everybody should get indulged. And everybody should have at least 1 or 2 or 3 coaching sessions with a coach, and there are several hidden aspects of a human being, and those are somewhere lying deep. So if you can come forth with those points with your coach, I think a lot of things you'd start seeing the answers. Right? Instead of yourself dwelling on them, why don't you get a coach, get into understanding what is needed, and you will see that your journey is now smoother, faster. There is somebody who is talking to you on this. And what we call in coaching is a safe space. That somebody is giving you a safe space. He or she is not going to talk to you on social media. So what do we say in coaching is confidentiality. There is a pure confidentiality in the entire coaching journey. What you spoke
like
to me
in therapy, it's complete confidence.
Absolute. So what you spoke to me, it is so confidential to me that only I know about it. Right? So likewise, in a coaching journey, it is absolutely confidential, a safe space, and the journey is so, I will say, evolving that you really find, okay, wow, I got it. So that's an aha moment in this entire journey.
So, sir, who, according to you, is the greatest coach of all time, and why?
Tough question. So I think let me acknowledge the fact that for all of us, I sincerely feel that our mothers are the biggest coaches of our life. What is the coaching she has done is right from your birth, from the day one, what you have to do as a mother with your child, and how you can learn to have your first milk, and that journey nobody teaches you. You start getting into it. And every day, small things, your first walk, your first lesson in the class, or your first success, what are the value systems that you have got, what beliefs that you have got created in your mind, what are good things, what are bad things, what are negative, so all this starts coming, and mother is a great influencer and a coach. So I think there are multiple names in the world, right? But I always feel the mother is the first, and then comes everybody for you.
Right.
So I think the greatest coach for me is the mother. And then of course, when I see the Indian mythology, I see Lord Krishna as the greatest next coach, who can be absolutely resonating with today's coaching world. Whatever we see in the coaching journey today, everything falls in line with what Bhagavad Gita has taught us 5,000 years back.
Right.
We were not able to decipher it the way we should have done it in the modern day, in the corporate world. But that's something that is our, I will say, we have missed the, the moment. But that, if we do it well, all the coaching books of the world speak somewhere on those principles only.
Right.
And I think these are the two biggest coach learners for me. And of course, there are a lot of Western coaches, as I said, the Marshall Goldsmith, for example, John Maton, for example. There are so many, and everybody has influenced in their own way. And I was lucky to be coached by Mr. John Maton himself. So I also consider him as one of my guru. And since John Maton coached Steve Jobs also, so I am happy and fortunate that I got coaching under his guidance also. So coincidentally, these are all like milestones of your life. And you start seeing that who is a bigger coach and a greater coach. But yes, something always remain in your mind that this is the best.
Correct. So as you said, you've been, coached by John Maton, who was a coach of Steve Jobs. So how has that journey been? Can you tell me the story of, how did that happen, and how that coaching has inspired you, and how, it's helping you in your coaching journey now?
Yeah, so I think John Maton happens to be one of the number one coaches in the corporate executive coaching, what we say. Of course, when we say coaching, coaching is quite spread out now. You have corporate coaching, leadership coaching, business coaches, you have wellness coach, relationship coaches, so and so forth. But I specialize in executive and leadership coaching. And John Maton happens to be one of the largest, or I will say a biggest brand here. And he happens to coach very limited people. So he runs a program called John Maton's Intelligent Leadership Program. John Maton coaches a pure simple understanding that we have, as I said in my previous talk, that there are outer cores. Like I want to be a good leader, I want to manage a good team, I want to be good at communication, I want to know how to handle my challenges better, I want to sound very well, that I am good at delegation power. Okay, I can lead very difficult situations, so I am very solution minded. So all these are the outer expectations of a human being, that it is expected out of you.
Right.
For example, like as a human being or as a corporate leader, what is expected? That I should be able to handle this, I should be able to handle team, I should get my revenues done, I should be able to handle complexities. Tomorrow there are certain turnovers which are not happening, or certain losses which are happening, I know how to manage it well. So there are multiple such things which are going to happen, right? And which is common to all corporates. So now when we see those challenges, so of course you can train yourself on the outer core. So there are different coaching interventions which helps you understand it better. But what is more important is, how do you coach your inner core? So John Maton coaches more on the inner core. What we call, he has something called anagram, which is a complex matrix of human behavior. Right? So the inner core is your inside, your DNA, your belief systems, your values, how you have been raised, what are your fears, what are your strengths, from your upbringing, from your society, from your childhood, from your other acquaintances.
It's been deep ingrained.
Yes. So if something is already deep in you, your outer things will start affecting it somewhere. It will start affecting those.
Right.
So unless you solve this problem, you'll not be able to solve the outer thing. So that's the beauty of John Maton's coaching, that you start knowing what is that inner core. And once you start addressing those inner core, your outer core also starts coming into a very good way. It is like you have a wound, and only a superficial bandage is not going to solve it. You have to solve it deep within. Maybe somewhere the root is deep down.
Okay.
So the root is where it comes on. So John Maton's coaching globally is recognized for doing a lot of, I will say, techniques which are hitting your core competencies.
Right.
And these core are your inner core competencies. And once you start getting into these inner core competency understanding, you will see that it has slowly become better, by which your outer core has started even becoming better than what you expected out of it. So that's the core of John Maton. And he would have coached several people. So one beautiful thing about him, that when we were exposed to coaching with John Maton, and he had coached Steve Jobs. So as a very naive person, I just went and asked him that what was the need for Steve Jobs to be coached when he's already successful, right? Apple was doing fantastic. The company was one of the best in the world. People are doing great. So what is Steve Jobs looking into it? Yeah. And at that age, what is he looking from Steve Jobs, that what he can coach him? Because already he's super successful. He's super successful. So he said a very beautiful thing, and that's what part of my book that I have written. So he focuses on the purpose. What is the leadership purpose? Or what is the purpose of that organization? right? So Steve Jobs had asked, or rather, I will say, John Maton had asked Steve Jobs that, okay, what is the purpose of your life? Basically, that we can coach you on, you know. So Steve Jobs, after a lot of thought, he said that I have come in the earth to make a dent in the universe. Very simple. I'm repeating.
It's a very famous quote from
Very famous quote. I have come on the earth
to make a dent.
to make a dent in the universe.
Right.
Now, what does that mean all about? He says that we at Apple, we are continuously looking at what are the changes, innovation, disruptions which can continuously help mankind, or you know, the technology by which we can always be doing something differential than everybody else.
Right.
John Maton's philosophy is, until unless I know your purpose, I'll not be able to coach you well. You know, what is the purpose of me?
Correct.
Say for example, I may say tomorrow, I want to be a CXO or whatever hierarchy. That may not be your purpose, right? Your purpose can be something different, that I want to be happily retired by 50. Something like that.
Right.
You know, Tata Group with whom I have worked long, the purpose can be more philanthropic in nature, you know, that they are human-centric company. They love human beings. They want people to be happy. They are always there for the society. So their purpose is different. You know, every company has their own purpose. Every person has their own purpose. And once you know that deep purpose of your life, then you start knowing, okay, अभी मुझे और क्या करना है इसके बारे में. Okay, I want to be a great leader. Oh, I want to be like this. I want to be a great actor. You know, मुझे, I know my destination, but करना क्या है? How to do it? What are the milestones that I need to achieve? So John Maton's coaching is purely first knowing your purpose, then knowing your inner core, outer core, and then laying solid foundations of your journey with a lot of action plans.
So sir, what's the key difference between Western coaches and Indian coaches? जैसा आपने कहा, you know, हमारे हिस्ट्री में ही इतना कुछ खजाना है, like right from Gita to Shri Krishna ने जो ज्ञान दिया अर्जुन को. So how does Indian history and mythology influence you in your coaching journey?
And as I said, Bhagavad Gita is a repository of so much of knowledge. And as you asked, what is already there? So I always found that Indian mythology and content has so much to do with the modern coaching. For example, a simple word called Atma Chintan. Yeah. So what is Atman Chintan? When you are actually self-introspecting. So modern coaching is all about introspection of yourself, right? You are finding your own answers. So we have been already taught that during the entire battle of Mahabharata, Arjuna had stopped and he said that, okay, I will only be fighting if I have these queries answered. So Lord Krishna was the coach, as I said in the beginning, never took any arms. He was Lord himself. He could have closed the war on the day one itself. But he did not do so. He made Arjuna understand that what is evil, what is righteous, what is the need of such a war, and why this war is for the truth, right?
Okay.
You are fighting for the truth. And hence, the entire journey of Bhagavad Gita is more about self-introspection, self-direction, and a lot of these is in today's modern coaching. While Western coaches, a lot of the philosophy came later, like when John Whitmore has devised the modern coaching or the executive coaching grow models and various other things. So the Western world took those neuroscience, for example, or psychology, for example, or psychometric tests, for example, or bringing psychology into corporates or sports, for example. This was not there, right? So we saw that the Western, particularly Europe, US, have adopted these techniques into bringing into their day-to-day work, whether it is sports or corporates. They tend to somehow, at times also get into mentoring phase, which is not recommended in coaching. But yes, they tend into mentorings. But this is how the Indian coaches shape up, very well laid, very grounded, and I think the largest chunk of growth of ICF credential coaches are coming up from Southeast Asia, and India becoming a hub of the budding coaches.
So in the conversation, so you mentioned that listening is very important. So I wanted to ask you, like, how important is silence?
Oh, lovely question. I have to be silent for a moment. No, silence is gold. Silence is precious. In a listening journey, of course, listening is different, but during a coaching conversation, silence and pause, these are very, very critical. When you ask a question, what are you doing? You are asking or provoking the coachee or the client of certain things that he is thinking about it, right? You don't rush to give another question. And that is the phase which is golden. For example, I ask you, Pranav, what are your best strengths? And I just keep quiet. You will take a time.
I'll start thinking.
You start thinking. And I still keep quiet. I'm not talking. And I give you, say, a good 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You're now thinking deep. So now you're thinking. So silence is so powerful that the moment you give the conversation those pauses, where you pause, give silence, give the time to the coachee to think, and let he or she come up with their answers, and you don't rush in. You just keep yourself, pause to that moment and be with the coachee, and then I will see that this silence has given the coachee a golden answers. And that's how you see that he or she would have come with such beautiful answers that you would have never expected it.
Correct. It's giving time to reflect on ourselves.
Absolutely. It's a pure reflection of self, and that's a beautiful take. In fact, John Maxwell says that if you are stuck in situation, you do not need to do a lot of things. You need a 30 minutes break. And that 30 minutes break should be pure silence.
Okay.
Where you go to a place, whichever is quieter, you just close your eyes, don't get disturbed with your phone, don't get disturbed with anything. Just pause yourself, keep quiet, ask the question to yourself, think deep. By the end of 30 minutes, you will surely be coming to an answer of yourself. Try this technique. It's a great technique to do it. A 30 minutes pause to find your own answers.
Another homework for us. We are getting a lot of homeworks.
Maybe.
Right, yes. So my next question would be, sir, like as you say that you work with Tata Group and Mr. Ratan Tata. So specifically, I would like to know that how was the journey with Mr. Ratan Tata, and any key learnings that you would like to share with the audience.
So one of the biggest thing that I learned from him is that how you can be so humble as a chairman of a group, leading a conglomerate of so many companies, yet you are so humble, you are so grounded.
And also giving.
And so much giving, of course. But the biggest, USP of this gentleman is being so humble, so approachable. This is what is missing in today's leadership. That a lot of leaderships are actually not humble. They are not approachable. At certain stage, because of the hierarchical, a lot of things comes to them auto in such a way that they tend to make their own systems, own beliefs, which actually stops a lot of other things to come into their space. And that may be a simple interaction with your junior colleagues, or meeting people often on the ground, knowing a lot of practical things happening. And that's what differentiates a leader. And also I feel that somewhere in the coaching journey, that when we coach leaders, this is what will imbibe a better leader if you start inculcating some of these great value system
Virtues.
into a leadership quality. A leadership is all about how you are getting acknowledged, how you are getting inspired by your team, your company, your stakeholders, your shareholders. And as you grow, the better you are accepted, you as an individual, your organization as a company will be always accepted. And that's how the journey is. So that's my learning.
Wow. So you rightly said about humbleness in an organization, especially someone like Ratan Tata being too grounded and humble. Nowadays, I've personally seen especially with the Gen Zs and Gen Alpha, they often change jobs and switch jobs too oftenly, too quick. So is there any lag in the management or their seniors or managers, they're not being humble, they're not being forgiving to them, or anything that you've noticed?
Yeah, it's a good I will say, not as a challenge, but it's a good change of dynamics. The Gen Z, Gen Alpha, what are they expecting out of the organization? And what are they really looking into their career? Is something that old leaders, maybe I am also an old leader, a lot of people, they don't accept it. First of all, they accept that, okay, one person is joining my organization, he or she would continue for X number of years, and I take them in this way, I give them instructions like this way, and it follows like this. It does not happen. So Gen Z and Gen Alpha are more prone to be accepted fast. They come with very, very strong knowledge background. They are very skilled, very academically they are very well. So there's no dearth of knowledge in them. What they may be looking at is, how can I be given responsibility? I am not micromanaged, right? And I'm not daily instructed about it.
Like taking ownership of a project.
Yes, I do not like daily instructions coming.
Right.
And that what does not, it pitches me, for example, I'm not habituated for a daily instruction. And I cannot treat him like that I'm a boss, you are a junior. No, it cannot be. We have to work with a lot of, I will say, a friendly relationship, cordial relationship.
Right.
Because that's what works, and they are not looking at boss as a boss. They are looking at boss as a friend, boss as a coach, I will say. And that's why they feel that, okay, let's be friendly with him. For example, as a simple thing, Western companies, a lot of the bosses are called by their first names. In India, we still call sir or boss, right? The moment you start talking to them with the first name, they get irritated off. Let's suppose a junior guy comes and says, by name Arun, how are you? You not like it, right? So you will say, okay, why this guy spoke to me like this? Because that's the way he is. So you start accepting the way it is. There's no harm. And I think it is a huge responsibility of the older leaders who are in the 40s, 50s and up 60s. They need to start looking at things in a deeper way, that the next generation, who is going to be the future of the businesses, the future of these corporates, they need to be treated much, much better. They need to be treated in a different way altogether. They are coming with a lot of inherent qualities, and they are already so skilled, what is the way it can have a more camaraderie that can give their best output? So I think a lot of these things come in the coaching, that how can you coach Gen Z, how can you coach millennials, what is the leadership qualities that you need to develop during coaching for millennials or Gen Z. For example, how do you take care of their iterations, how do you take care of their mental health?
Correct.
People are not happy working say 9 hours, 10 hours a day. You know, first thing they will ask you whether it's a Saturday off. What are they looking? They're not looking at Saturday to as an off day. They love to be spending a little time on their own, and it is fine.
Yeah.
I find it is absolutely fine, because they are working hard and they want to spend a little time. So and it is absolutely to the organization to decide what should be the right time for them, for their self-being, well-being. A lot of the people, they love to have gyms, a lot of them go for adventures and all that. So it's all good as long as it's a healthy relationship, developing relationship, a cooperative understanding between the organization and the leadership. I think Gen Z will do well. Whenever there is nothing which is falling in line, then only it breaks.
So, sir, what is the entire coaching process and some of the unique tools that you use?
Okay, so coaching process globally has few steps. I'll keep it simple for the audience today. It all starts with we know each other. For example, you are a coachee, I'm a coach, or anybody as a client comes forward, whether it's a life coaching or a corporate coaching, something comes from a HR recommendation. But the process starts with simple, which we call normally as a chemistry session, that we know each other, we actually understand what the coaching needs are. Somebody would have spoken about a coaching need, and whoever is getting coached, I want to meet him or her before the coaching session. So that's the beginning of the session. During the actual session is more about you start about understanding the actual coaching need, and that forms something called what is your ultimate need that you need to resolve, right? And that important understanding does not happen immediately. It is a process of awakening. It is a process of deep introspecting, and then we solution, or we find a absolute clarity that okay, this is what we need to resolve. For example, I need to be healthy. For example, this is something that I want to address in my coaching session, or something like I want to be better at my leadership with global cross-culture companies. So something, a very complex subject can be a coaching tool or a coaching need. And then we understand that how much that is going to be your actual need. For example, I have already identified it, but do I really need it? But sometimes it happens that, okay, I am not 100% into it, but I need it. Something is very immediate that I need it. I need to resolve it immediately, okay? I need to resolve that today I want to be healthy and I want to work immediately on this. I don't want to take time. So you need to see what is your resolve on this. And then once we understand that, okay, this is what is the resolve, then we find what are the options that we have. I have options like, I can go to a gym, I can have a different diet altogether, I can go to a different doctor altogether, I can do ABCD, whatever are the options in front. And we value each options, that what are the different process of these options which are laid out, how it is going to be easier for the client to do it. And once we get the options clarity, then we form something called an action plan on this. So once the action is laid on, then it becomes more that you are self-driven on this, that okay, I need to make this, I need to take time. Sometimes the actions take time. It can be a 1 week, 10 days, 1 month. That's okay, absolutely okay as a process. But you start taking actions on those plans that you have made, and you will start seeing smaller milestones of successes. that you don't get the ultimate goal in day one. Say for example, I want to be healthy. Your options are that, okay, I want to be going to a gym, and nobody can start a gym and do 1 hour and be healthy from week 1. It cannot be possible, right? So you have to set a smaller milestone. Maybe you start walking. 10 minutes of walking or 20 minutes of walking is what is the first milestone I want to achieve before I actually hit the gym. And it can start reflecting in my health. So that's a very simple understanding that there can be a multiple milestone to the ultimate milestones that I want to achieve. And that is where you get into that. And finally, what I say is there's a time when you actually see the success. You should know how to retain that success. That's where you say the flowing in the success, or flowing in that achieving the goal. That I have now achieved the goal. How do I now retain it? How do I flow in this so that I take next bigger milestone on this? So that's the coaching journey all about.
Okay.
And you talked about coaching tools. Of course, we have few coaching tools, and I had in my book few coaching tools done. And these coaching tools, for example, PyTR, as a coaching tool, Visions coaching model. These are some coaching models. Of course, we have international coaching models, but these are something where I found it unique to my clients, and a lot of coaches have got helped out of this. They have found it interesting, easy to do, very easy to actually start tracking your progress, and you will see that you are going one step at a time and seeing the success. And there's always that if I've not been able to succeed at say step 3, step 4, always you can come to step 3 and step 2 and again restart it back. So that's basically that you start seeing a small success out of every mile that you have walked. Right. You really don't want to walk the entire journey to see the success. So every milestone is an acknowledgement that you progress from what you started. Right. And that is all about coaching. When you start seeing success from everything, that's when you start acknowledging yourself. You start giving confidence to yourself that look, I have now started doing this. Now I'm bettering this. And that's where you start getting acquainted to this, the happy moment that now I'm started getting that help of this entire journey.
Right. Also, so in the book, I read it, and there was a mention of self-coaching. Would you like to elaborate?
Coaching cannot be a subject which is cannot be afforded. Everybody should be able to coach, and everyone should be able to afford coaching. That's what is my vision, that coaching should be absolutely affordable. In fact, everybody should go through coaching, and I am okay to coach everybody. And there are self tools, like for example in my book, I will just speak one or two because of the paucity of time today. So there are some tools which I have given at the back, and these tools are very, very interesting tools. And this says that, okay, what do I need to do on life coaching? Say suppose I want to have a better purpose for life. What is the way I can do? So there are some set of questions. If you start answering each one of them, you will get a lot of your own answers. How do I solve problems? How do I plan a goal? Wow. So for example, there are set of some 25 questions, 30 questions. You start answering each one of them, you will see your own answers. You need not go to a coach. You will get your own answers. So there are a lot of such techniques in my book. Wow. And there are so many simple ways that I can get coached myself without actually having a coach. Of course, you need to have a coach, but in case you're not able to get a coach and you're not happy with, able to afford it, so you can always have a self-help tools, and you can start working on your own coaching journey.
Very nice. So, like a coach, asks the questions. The book already has a set of questions that one can, answer himself, and self-coaches himself, in short.
Absolutely. Wow. It can answer all of these questions, and I think this is just the start. There are hundreds of topics on which I've written other points on which anybody can start coaching themselves and can get actually, you can cover the step 1, step 2, step 3 of your journey at least. And then of course you can look for more deeper coaching needs if you want with a proper guided coach.
Also, there was an interesting mention of digital coaching. What is that?
Okay, it's catching up well. It's catching up well, and a lot of international coaching organizations, or there are various companies which have come up both globally and India, who are using a lot of chatbots, for example, digital tools to have the basic chemistry sessions, basic questioning of the client, and you start getting a proper analysis of the behavioral traits. You know, how a person is, how a leader is, what is the expectations, what is the actual coaching need. So a lot of these are captured into digital formats,
Through a chatbot.
through digital questions, through I will say gamification of the entire program.
Okay.
So that gives you a newer way of how the entire coaching journey is evolving now.
Nice.
Well, we have not seen much of it in India, but now it is coming up in a larger way. That it is coming up in a way that a lot of things can be an app driven. You want to, you are stuck in something. There's something which in your hand, that how I can now get into the basic understanding and then at least resolve some of it. So there are chatbots which catches it, and there are a lot of, being in the automotive space, aviation space, we have used extensively a lot of queries of customers or passengers, and solve a lot of their queries on a daily basis. So I think a lot of these things are now coming into the digital space, but of course humans will remain as humans.
Okay.
You have the emotional quotient, you have the pause, you know when to pause, you know how to reflect, you have a tonality, you have a pitch,
Correct.
you know how to react to certain emotions, and these cannot be on the chatbots or ever on a digital platform.
It
This will
cannot
always,
completely replace human intervention.
it cannot
but
ever replace human beings. It will always be
A secondary or-
a human being's God gifted attributes. It cannot be ever copied, and I feel that whatever is happening in the coaching space, of course there are tech and digital interventions, but the absolute coaching is a personal intervention. It is one-on-one coaching. Of course we have now one-on-team coaching also, but however it is absolutely a emotional journey. It's a journey where you actually start a lot of awakening amongst the coachee, and that's what cannot be ever be
Replaced.
mechanized, or it cannot be automated in that way.
Right. So I would like to talk about Ignite Brainery International, IBI. I think that's your coaching enterprise. So what's the vision for that?
Oh, it's a good question. And sometime in 2019, I thought to do something on the coaching space. Purely, I was targeting coaching, and I started that I cannot just have a coaching, and then of course we thought about putting it as coaching, training, and consulting wing. But my focus was always on coaching, and the whole idea is to reach out to as many corporates, leaders, managers, and I never have sided away from anybody who sought my coaching interventions. And it so happened that my friends, my colleagues, my ex-bosses, a lot of people, they have asked me that, okay, how do we get into this space? Is it really helpful? So then I started these enterprises, that it can be a good part, that how it can now be reflected to the world. And I started this website. We have now coached more than 1,000 plus hours with leaders, very senior leaders, and with a lot of clients. And the whole point is that we have got an excellent feedback that coaching is now helping them go to that level 1 to level 2, level 3, and that's how the journey is evolving on them. The whole point about Ignite Brainery was that it should not be sounding a particular domain specific. Coaching is not a domain specific program. So as I see, coaching is agnostic to domains. Coaching is agnostic to leadership hierarchy. It does not see anybody. It treats everybody as equals. So suppose you are just a student and you are coming to me. I don't treat you, okay, I am very senior, I am more knowledgeable. We are equals. We treat each other as equals. I feel you are equally resourceful, you are equally complete, you are equally knowledgeable, and what you are coming to me is something where I have to come to your level to understand. And that is what you are seeking from me. And Ignite Brainery has come up all the way to manage it well with a cross. We have clients who are like housewives, students, managers, leaders, who not. And I feel that I'm proud and fortunate that I got this opportunity to come into this space, and I found this as an interesting passion in my life to go on.
Wow, very nice. So, winding it up, like I wanted to ask the last question, like one insight from your book Discoveries with Coaching that you would like to give to our audience, or any new leaders that are stepping in.
So one quick insight of the book is very simple. Learn this process, get into the coaching space, get into the coaching journey. Do not inhibit yourself from a new learning that you wanted to do. It is something which is very interesting, very insightful, very resourceful, and it is going to help you develop that particular aspect of yours. And if that can start giving you result, I'm sure you will be able to do it in turn with others. So that's something which you should get out of this book. This book is with a simple reading, and it makes the concepts very simple for you to understand. I'm sure you'll get inspired and you'll start acknowledging it in your day-to-day life. Thank you.
With that, we wrap, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. It was.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
I was equally fortunate to have you today on the podcast, and thank you so much for your time too.